Hello. Um, this is just a kind of like a video diary thing for me. It's voxel-esque generated mesh is in Unreal Engine. This is an update. What is it? 5 now, I believe so. Been working on. Yeah, I've got some static meshes in here that I'm working on. When I get done, right now this is just an actor. Did it that way so I could do my testing and all. I've got what I've got going on here is I can add and remove the blocks, and I've got to figure out one. I want to add. I want to make this into a skeletal mesh so I can make a vehicle out of it. So that means I'm going to have a root bone, and somehow I'll be able to dynamically add the other bones. I'm thinking that maybe adding the root bone dynamically would be a good thing. That way we can change the center of mass or where the steering is from in case I have any problems like what's going on with Robocraft, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with Robocraft. Robocraft is completely awesome. My color picker's a little buggy here, but nonetheless it's actually pretty awesome to be able to change the colors on the meshes. Anyway, I've got this set up to where I'm using a transparent mesh, and when I'm done, of course, you know, if the block has got a transparent material, when I'm done, and when I get, excuse me, I'm having fun here, but when I get done, if it's using a transparent material, of course it's going to upload all of the vertices for the block into, whoa, that was nuts. It's going to upload the block with all the vertices so that the transparency is worthwhile. So you'll be able to see a solid block underneath it. You're going to be able to pick which material you want to use. Actually, I've got some ideas about that. Maybe have the material picking be something that happens when you choose where you want to be from. But as it sits, I've got add and remove. I've got to work on my color picker and make it less buggy, so when I click to change something else, it doesn't disappear on me. It's pretty cool. I've also got some physics going on here. The physics I've got, which I've got to remove it for, I got to make a couple of different game modes. One, a building mode, which I'm going to use a volume for. You know, when you enter the volume, you enter that game mode. And see what I want to do. I want to have first-person variable in this. But anyway, back to what I was saying. This is going to be turned into a pawn, and you are going to be able to choose your center of mass. You're going to be able to, via sockets, add different movement types and such to it. The coloring is going to end up paint tool whenever you get done, so you can actually just paint rather than having to remove and add the block. I don't know, I like Robocraft. Robocraft is completely awesome, but it's the developers have a dream, and it's understandable, and I enjoy their dream. It's just that, you know, the way it's going isn't exactly me. So, you know, rather than whining and complaining to them, because it is their game and they are doing an awesome job with it, I have ideas that I want to implement that I'm going to do in my own little way here. And when I get done, I'm going to have an awesome game to play. But anyway, so far I've outgrown the code that I was using to teach myself how to do what I had to do, and so I've had to go ahead and make my own structures or structs to hold the information I wanted, like color, weight, the type of material. Well, the material is going to be dependent upon type. I'm trying to keep that as memory light as possible. So it's just going to be a an int telling you what type it is. I have a tip, which this is coming later on. So if you have watched it this far, I found a color picker for in-game on the internet. A guy named Rama made it and put it up for everybody to use. It's free. And what I'm doing is whenever I change the color, I use the event tick so it constantly updates it every time I touch it. And I set the block color, which is a variable, on a blueprint that I have in the level. Now, all I've done with this blueprint, there's nothing in the event graph, nothing in the construction script or anything like that. I'm just adding my variables to it. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Add the variables to it, compile it, and put it into the level, which, as you can see right here, that's my variables blueprint. It does nothing. It disappears when you run the game. But what it does is something very important. It stores the color that I am updating from the paint graph, or the paint widget. And I tried sending it directly to a variable on my blueprint for my dynamic mesh here, and it wouldn't update the variable until after I had hit escape. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but this works. It works well, and it allows me to add a lot of information. It allows me to have access to a bunch of variables and share them between blueprints with relative ease. So, just a tip, if that's something you're having troubles with, just do that and then access it as normal. As you can see right here, where is it? Target, color, no, right here. There's my variables, which the variable itself is a reference to that blueprint, which is a reference, and we use it as the reference, and we get the block color, change the block color over to a color from a linear color. So far what I have, the top part here is for placing the block, this is for removing the block, and this has got to do with the physics for getting the hit event whenever I shoot at it or run into it. Had to make a couple of functions, compare the check the surface normal. If it's negative, add it. If it's positive, just use the surface location. That's what I'm doing there. I'm adding the surface normal to the surface location, which of course I've got split up. And with removing it, we want to subtract it if it's a positive value, because if you don't, it's going to choose the location that's on the outside of the block, and we want to choose the location that's inside the block. We want the block location itself, and to get that, we have to subtract the normal of the face that we hit. We're using a line trace by channel, working out beautifully. The physics, same thing. except, and I probably overdid this, probably don't even need it, because it's basically a recreation of the add if the surface normal is negative. But the using the other two, it didn't work, so I had to add a little extra, combine the other two into one and make it do what I wanted it to. So I've got that, and that's what allows it to remove the block and update the mesh. Set block here is a function that accesses the struct that I'm working on. It's going to contain everything from color. Let's see here. Right now, I just got color and type in my little struct, which this is really beautiful. I was able to make a 3D array of it. Another little tidbit of a tip for anybody. This is just turning out beautiful. Doing it that way with the type, if you wanted to use one material on your mesh and use the material, access the material like a texture atlas, you can do the UVs like that depending on the type. You just run through it, and I mean, if the type is blah blah blah, then you set the UVs for the texture as blah blah blah. The winding, weird, okay, but let's see here, UV. Alright, it works in a counterclockwise winding. So, but anyway, back to what I was doing. This is going to take a bit to load up, but it's been fun so far. Hasn't taken forever. But hopefully by this time next week I have this set up as a pawn with a root bone and a way to possess it. Also going to be coming up with a cool little build garage. There's something with a grid on the floor, that you can to build on. Have a good idea. I'm contemplating whether or not I actually want to do a wireframe of the box that you were looking at or about to place. That's a few more line traces that I don't think are really necessary, but time will tell. And yeah, that's what I have. Is some completely awesome stuff here. If I do decide to go ahead and build this using the light tesseract or cube 2 sauerbraten, what in the heck is that called? I don't know. But anyway, it's long, drawn out, but I'm having fun. It's not taking forever. Had to learn a few things. Doing the 3D array. This is a very, very cheap point cloud system that, which is basically all it is, At this point at X, Y, Z, add this block, and if the block has a block above it or below it or to the left or to the right, remove those vertices that can't be seen. Pretty awesome. Same thing with the physics. I mean, which this here is going to come in handy whenever we actually go to using it on a vehicle. I do want to have 3 different size vehicles. I'm not going to do like Robocraft. I don't want to have 50 bazillion freaking garages because, well, I mean, it's cool and all. I enjoyed that, but I want to have it to where you really have to, you got to work on the bot that you got, We're going to have it to where you can get out of your vehicle when it's about to die or whatever. So, which is going to add many more game modes that can be done. Get to a point to where you got to get out of your vehicle to be able to go complete an objective or something. But anyway, I'm rambling. And this is probably horrendously large anyway. So thanks for watching. Look forward to doing the next update, which hopefully has me adding, I'm not sure if I'm going to do adding movement parts or doing the corner modification on the cubes. I'll have to think about that.